this gravity, it keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye.
Guys, welcome to Diggity, the video game podcast, episode number 215. I'm Jeff James, as always with me, the incredible, unobtainable, luscious Brody Fault. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. My eardrums aren't bleeding from a typical Jeff intro.
Yeah, take it a little lighter.
I'm almost a little disappointed. I mean, 215 episodes in, the eardrums are getting quite calloused. But I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. Just chilling, just getting ready for vacation.
Yeah.
So with you, yeah, we're going together. We're going. It's not just us.
Yeah.
It's not a brocation, but we're.
Oh no, it is. They're pretty much ditching us. It's fine.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like they're ditching us for the champagne, whatever it is. The cat pee lounge.
That's right.
That's what I call champagne. It's gross.
That's because it's bad.
Yeah. Anyways, if you're joining us for the first time, whether it's on the audio or the video version, welcome. Each and every single week, Brody and I discuss the greatest of gaming news, give our blunt opinions, and call out the bullshit. It's a great time. We love it. We've been doing it for a while now. We have some good old times with it. I go live at 9 o'clock on YouTube and on Twitch on Thursdays, and on Friday morning, you can find a incredible, juicy old episode of Diggity, fresh off the Diggity tree, handpicked by Brody, and shined by me, and delivered to you through your incredible device that allows you to listen to our beautiful voices in your vehicle while you drive at 60 miles per hour down the road in rage that you have to go to your job. But we make it a little bit better, so it's all good, you know?
That was so incredibly detailed. You painted just a fantastic picture.
No, you're welcome. That's why I'm here. That's why
you're like
neither of us make
Bob
any
Ross
money.
of
That's why
words.
neither of us make any money doing this.
And there it is.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Diggity Podcast. You can catch us over there. With that, I mean, let's jump right on into it. What have you been rocking? What have you been playing?
So I've been playing quite a bit of Scarlet Nexus. I'm trying to get through it. I have this weird. I don't know. I'm still not sure if I like it, and I'm like 3/4 of the way done with it. Okay. So I think that kind of means I'm not a huge fan. Part of me is interested enough to try to maybe play the second half of the story, like with the other character or whatever. But I'm also I cannot get in the rhythm of this game. I actually turned the difficulty down just so I can power through it and finish it. So I don't think I'm going to end up playing the other character side of things, but it's fine. We played a little bit of Overwatch this weekend. I think that was this weekend. They start to run together. Played a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn. I need to get back into that and finish that up before we get a imminent release date for the second one. And just kind of scratch the surface of Monster Hunter Stories too, which is fantastic so far. I really enjoy it. It's a cute little game. It's not super difficult or anything like that. It's just kind of fun to go around and get eggs, and I mean it's kind of more of a laid back and chill kind of game, and whereas the other Monster Hunter, if you're not sweating, you're not doing it right. So it's good. How about you? What have you been playing?
So played obviously Overwatch with you. Played a good amount of Ratchet and Clank. I'm almost close to being donezo with it, which is great.
Yeah, you should be really close.
Yeah, I am really close. I can tell. I got a little bit of spoiler that I saw on Twitter that makes me know that I'm extremely close. I have been collecting a lot of stuff, which is unlike me to go around and like do some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I actually have fun with it. I think it's mainly because I don't find it that hard to do.
No, it's usually not. Those, like I said, the worst part is the friggin' teddy bears. Those damn things are hidden in like some weird spots and they don't appear on the map. I looked those up. I'm not even gonna lie about that.
I mean, I would have. It'd be crazy
Yeah.
to naturally
wander.
stumble upon them. Yeah, it would take
Some of
forever.
them you have to find in like certain orders too. Like as you're going through levels or there's like
Lord.
one of the levels where you can like switch. I don't want to say too much, but one of the switching levels where you like bounce back and forth, right? That one, it even from the beginning of the level, it's not very far into the level, and it still took me like 10 minutes to get to the damn thing because you have to go through all the motions all over
That's
again.
crazy.
And I was like, I should have looked this up earlier, but
I'm not about that. I'm not about that life at all. So
Needed that
yeah, I
platinum
mean, I did
trophy.
that. Ratchet and Clank, City Skylines. Been like playing
Yeah.
like a little bit here and there of that recently. Really
Yeah.
like it a lot. I'm scared because after I get this view will change behind me. I'm setting up my other office, and so it's gonna be a different view. I'm gonna set it up all different. I'm gonna put LED lights on the floor that shine up and all this, Twitch e-girl bullshit. Maybe I'll look
Gonna
like
do the clouds up top and everything too.
yeah, I'm gonna get the stupid nano leaf lights. I won't do that. I'm not paying like fucking $300 for lights on the wall.
Yeah,
that's not gonna
that's
happen.
insane.
You kiss my
You can
ass.
get the there's some on Amazon that are pretty cheap.
Well,
and
but if I do
supposed to be
that, then
pretty
people
good.
are gonna say I'm
Cheap.
I'm cheap.
But
That's
you
fact. That's a fact. But hey, and then God, what else? I think I'm gonna get Park Attacked, which is scary because I'm a huge Roller Coaster Tycoon fan, and Park Attacked looks just unbelievable. So
Nice.
and
That'd be
then
cool.
the rest has been it's been a lot of life stuff going on, so it's gotten in the way of stuff. So, but other than that, yeah, that's what I've been playing, my man. So
Nice.
yeah, cool.
Cool. So we're gonna start off with a couple big pieces of news. We've kind of been trying to rearrange how the show is. That way, if we get some new listeners, we're not completely throwing them off with the boring shit right out the gate. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So Battlefield 2042, we got a briefing, kind of another look at this game and what it's going to entail. This was mainly like a blog post that they put out, but a lot of it we've already covered. This was stuff that was kind of revealed as the game was being shown off and things like that. So we're basically going to cover new things on this list and maybe reiterate a few older things. But so first up, the specialist and squad section of this is each loadout will consist of a primary weapon, equipment, which is no longer class specific, a secondary weapon, and a throwable. So your grenades, your Molotov cocktails, things like that. And you'll also have your specialist ability and trait. So some of them are nimble or whatever it may be. If you get the wingsuit, so each specialist has that. Each squad can consist of one or more than one unique specialist, which they can actually all end up looking different because there's going to be skins in this game. So think kind of like your Call of Duties where there could be 6 people playing the same person, but
Yeah.
they all have different skins or something, which is fine. There's no reason why you should bar people out of it. It's not Overwatch, right? Ranger, the robot dog, will not be unique to one specialist and will be available to everyone through the call-in system, which is, I assume this is going to be kind of more in like the score streak realm of things, which is kind of cool. Which they've done in the past. They've done certain scores you can call something in. So this next section is all about the next gen consoles. So the only compromises that the devs are trying to make between the console generations is the map size and player count. All other elements of the game should more or less be the same. So they're not trying to diminish your experience on Xbox One or your PlayStation 4. For the most part, it should be the same experience, just smaller maps, less people, so they can still do what they want to do, which should be feasible, right? I mean,
Yeah, makes sense.
They put Battlefield out on those consoles before, so it shouldn't be a problem. Maps. So more information about the maps will be given during the EA Play event on July 22nd, as well as the unknown game mode from Ripple Effect, which is now what the studio formerly called Dice LA was. So I'm excited to see what that mode is, right? And I don't think they're going to show a whole lot more maps. I think this whole little part of their announcement is more saying like, hey, there's different maps or different versions of these maps for this game mode. I don't think we're going to get any more. I think it's going to launch with the 7 maps, and then they're going to add more through seasonal content, which should be free as far as the maps go.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool, and I'm excited to see more maps. I mean, these 7 maps look awesome, and it'll be a great start. And I mean, the first season should start pretty quickly, I would imagine. So,
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't, try to get going as quickly as possible on it.
yeah, absolutely. Some notes on vehicles. So the vehicle call-in system will be accessed in-game from a tablet interface and will be available to all players regardless of the specialist they play. So it's not like you have one person that can do this. Everyone will be able to do this. So each team will have essentially a vehicle budget at any given time based on the map. After each time you call in a vehicle, you will have a cooldown before you can use that function again. You will still be able to spawn directly into vehicles like past games, and actually this is the only way you can get into aircraft. You cannot call in aircraft. Each faction will have their own vehicles, and there will be some small naval-oriented vehicles, like I think they mentioned hovercrafts and probably, I mean, some jet skis or something of that nature. Maps that have rivers and whatnot, but there's not going to be a huge focus on naval warfare. So you're not going to see battleships and larger, ships that have guns. I mean, not full on battleships, but not even like a decent size. I don't know the name of what these would be called, but
Clearly.
yeah, horse. I don't know. But yeah, this is fine with me because after playing Cold War and people would just get into these boats and stay in these boats the whole time, and then you got people underwater like sniping through the water.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. This is fine. I don't want a huge focus on water combat. AI soldiers. So there's been a little bit of contention on this AI soldier thing, which I think is a little silly, but so in multiplayer, AI soldiers will be used to fill servers as needed. Players will always have priority over AI in matchmaking, which makes sense. In co-op, you can team up with friends to play against AI soldiers, which is cool.
Pretty neat, yeah.
You can also play solo against AI as well. So AI soldiers will not play as a specialist, and they will not have any special traits or abilities. And there is also not a way to opt out of having AI soldiers, but there is a cap on how many can be in each match. They will also replace players if someone leaves, which is a great feature. That way your teams don't get lopsided. And then as more players are trying to get in, they will replace these bots eventually too.
Yeah.
But it's not uncommon to see AI in these kinds of games. When you're having such large
welcome
player
it.
counts, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's a great opportunity for some people that are newer to the franchise to get some kills too, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I think of my kids play a lot of Fortnite, so I think of Fortnite. There's very frequently bots within most lobbies in that game, and it's fine. It doesn't hurt the experience. It's not like they're making it to the end anyway, typically. I mean, every great once in a while you'll get a fluke where it's like some bot that made it to like the last 10, but
Yeah.
very, very rarely, right?
Godly bot.
But the idea of them, keeping servers filled and not having a team that has like 20 people and the other team has 60 in it, it's like that's great. This is a good thing to have, especially if it is just a temporary fix, right? So online and crossplay. Even though you can play solo against AI, the game will still be in an online setting during that solo deal. So this means that Battlefield 2042 must always be online, which people are upset about, and I found that odd because almost every game has to be online all the time anymore. That's just kind of the nature of things, but I guess, yeah, if you're hoping to sit at home and not connect to the internet for whatever particular reason, not an option for this one. Crossplay will be a part of 2042 and will be tested during the technical play test later this summer, which these are all private invite. They'll basically contact you if you're selected for it, like if you have an EA account type deal. So there's nowhere to go sign up for these or anything of that nature. Crossplay in the full game will allow PS5, Xbox Series X and S players, and PC players to all play together. Console players can actually opt out from play with PC, which is fantastic because a lot of games that have this crossplay, it's either all crossplay or nothing, and it'll be like limited to input, right? But that can be spoofed very easily. So actually being able to be like, hey, no, I'll play with PlayStation players, but I don't really want to play with PC players because I just watched that dude spin around 8 times and fucking headshot somebody. So yeah, maybe not. But Xbox One and PS4 players will also be able to play with each other. But of course, given the limitations of those consoles, they will not be able to play with PS5 or Series X or PC. There are also plans to implement cross progression, regardless of whether it is just an upgrade to next gen or an entirely different platform. So if you want to go from PC to Xbox to fucking PlayStation, you want to buy this game 3 times, you can, and you should be able to carry your progress between all of them because I imagine it'll just link up to your
But
account.
will it work smoothly?
Maybe.
We hope.
Well, I hope it's more beneficial than linking your Blizzard account because that did nothing.
No, now it does a bunch.
Well, kind of. It allows you to crossplay, but it still doesn't carry over your progression, which is stupid. So stupid.
Oh god.
So what do you think? How you feeling about all this?
I'm
Anything
still stoked
stand out?
about it. I mean, I think a lot of people, I think the online thing was annoying to some people. I don't know why. I mean, if you look at most of the games you play now, most of them are online games that are the big
few
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other ones are campaign, and we know this isn't going to have a campaign.
I mean, this is literally a multiplayer only game. I don't know why it
people
wouldn't just be online all the time.
I mean, if multiplayer
what do you expect?
land based. Yeah, it's a little dumb for that. I like the unique specialist stuff. I hope it's balanced properly. I doubt it in the first week. I think there'll be a lot of crazy shit going on, right?
Oh yeah, there always is, but I think it'll balance out relatively smoothly eventually because I mean, it's not like it's their first game, right? They've done this a handful of times at this point. They should be able to balance relatively easily.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope the guns feel really good too, because the guns did not feel good in the last 2 games.
Oh, they felt terrible.
And people are like, well, that's because they're old. It's like, no, it's not. I mean, it felt like some of them felt like you were just shooting like Nerf darts at somebody.
I think Battlefield 1 was even worse. I think Battlefield 5 wasn't great, but Battlefield 1 was awful. I couldn't find a gun that I liked in that game. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Battlefield 5, I kind of got away with some guns, but I'm so happy for modern guns again because modern guns are just much more fun to shoot.
Yeah.
Just so much better feeling.
And then on the maps, we got a hint too before this happening that they're going to be remaking some beloved maps, which is fantastic to hear. The vehicles is cool. It sounds like there's more shit to do in them rather than like one key position in the vehicle and then like 4 people
Everybody else is just there,
doing nothing. Like I understand why you would do that. That is kind of realistic, but also like if there's a hole in it, I should be able to just pop my gun into the hole and shoot out of the tank, right? Like I shouldn't have to just sit there like I'm taking an Uber. The crossplay, cool, pretty standard like everything else. And I mean overall, it just seems like it's going to be a good game. I mean, I can't complain.
With the crossplay part of it, I'm just happy to hear it confirmed there's crossplay because we assumed there was going to be crossplay, but we didn't hear anything, and I was like, I don't know how this is going to be because a lot of our friends are playing on different consoles right now. Like we've got buddies playing on Xbox, we got buddies playing on PC. Our boys over at WASD, obviously, they lean more towards PC if you couldn't tell. But I like the idea of being able to turn off crossplay between consoles and PC too. I think that's something that they really all should do and not just limit it to input method, but this is fantastic. Like nothing here deterred me in any way, shape, or form, and if anything, it made me more excited. So I'm pumped.
That's really weird. I just got like some spammy ass text like 7 times. So I had to
Ooh,
I had to
nice.
go on the computer and put do not disturb because my phone was looking up. So it was like ping, 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 ping. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked for the game. So I mean, we're gonna buy it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna play the shit out of it, and that's about it. I mean, I hope other people do the same too. So
Yeah.
people
Hell
complain
yeah.
about the price. Also, take the price of like older games, like way back, like from this. Like I think Colin Moriarty did it, and it was brilliant. But he took like a Sears catalog or whatever from years back on the NES days, and he accounted for inflation, and it's still cheaper to buy video games than it was back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it was like $92 for like a Ridge Racer or something like that.
And the thing that gets
Today's
me
money.
too, and I know I've said it before, but I feel like I need to say it again. You're gonna get so much more value out of this game than most $70 games you're gonna buy. Like nobody bitched about Ratchet and Clank being $70, and I didn't either. I enjoyed the fucking game. Like it was a fantastic game.
Me too. Yeah,
But
totally
I
worth
also
it.
paid $70 for about 20 hours. I will easily have well over 100 hours in this game.
No, easily.
No problem.
No
Like
problem.
my enjoyment to cost ratio is it's gonna be like cents. Like it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
But to each their own, right? Like not everybody
absolutely,
is
yeah. I
big
mean,
into
people,
multiplayer.
don't
So
want to pay for it. Like I get it. Like it's been $60 for God. How long?
it's been a long time.
Decades, right? Like at least 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been $60. So I mean, there's change to it. People lose it, but
It's just weird how people like choose which games they're mad about being $70.
Well,
Like I never heard anything about Ratchet and Clank, and it's like that was $70 just like all the other
well,
games.
it's because it's
just
EA.
weird.
I think the other thing that's
Yeah.
amazing to me too is like people complained about the crunch time and all these different things, and like okay, I think there's at different game companies is probably worse than other places. I've been through it myself, but it's kind of part of the whole media and industry. But like when you enact these things and you force companies to also not do crunch time, you cause overhead to increase
Right.
because people are on salary,
Mm-hmm.
and so now you're just against time.
Right. It's a weird yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah, I mean,
kind of a weird
it's the same
image.
shit, right? So it's like if like you had crunch time at McDonald's, for some unknown reason, someone's making a Big Mac and it, there's crunch time, and they said no more crunch time. Well, then the price of the Big Mac's gonna have to go up.
Right.
But then people pitch about the Big Mac going up. It's like this is what you wanted. Like Grand Theft Auto is gonna be $70 game,
Oh, absolutely.
guaranteed. Might be 75 by the time it comes out. It'll be 2025. Jesus,
If they announced that it was $80, I bet people still would not complain though, because it's
It's
GTA,
$100 people
and
go
they
and
could
buy
get
it.
away with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. I just find it weird how people
Oh, I agree.
pick and
I mean,
choose
because
which
it's
one
just
they want to complain
shaming.
about, right?
It's just how
Yeah.
the hit piece.
That's-
I mean, it's just like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
let's just like shit on this company because it's so easy to shit on it, and people won't backlash me on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, EA's like you could say whatever you want about EA, and most people are gonna be like, yeah, fuck those guys.
EA's successful.
Right. They seem to be doing A-okay.
That'd get me hurt. All right, moving on. Big story of the day. The good old Valve Steam Deck was announced. So Steam just announced their handheld hybrid console that's set to release this December. I'm a little interested to see when in December and how many and how easy it is to get one. Considering the current console issues now. But there'll be
Reservations are open. Whatever they.
I have a feeling like in January, late December, January, which I'm going to be that person. Unfortunately, is not that far away.
No, it really isn't.
It's terrifying, actually.
I mean, we're halfway through
almost at the end
July
of
right
summer.
now.
Yeah, we're more than halfway through summer, and I mean, what? 2 months is 3 months. It's Halloween. Yeah.
Yep.
Good God. But anyways, they have 3 SKUs. at launch. So there's a 64 gig model that's $399. I thought these were competitively priced, by the way, like really competitively priced.
Very impressive on the pricing, honestly.
You had a 250 gig model, which gives you a slightly faster storage as well, not just capacity overall, but it's a different style of storage for $529. These are all U.S. prices, by the way, for listeners across the world. And then you have a 512 gig model, which is $649. It's the fastest storage, so it's a NVMe SSD. Plus, it also has a anti-glare etched glass screen as well. So that $649 is probably gonna be the one I think that most people try to go for.
I think if you're gonna go for this, I'd go for the 649 for sure. I mean, double the memory. It's SSD. Comes with the better glass screen, and then on top of that, I think there was like a premium case. I don't know what exactly that entails, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're looking at a half terabyte of SSD, you're looking at what? Probably $80 to $100 depending. I mean, usually you can get
they're
a
all
terabyte.
up right now because everything's
up.
up.
It's so everything's in flux, right? But so I mean, that alone to me is a big deal right there. That SSD.
Yeah.
After seeing it in works on the PlayStation and the Xbox, I swear by SSD for sure.
Oh yeah. No, and speaking of more storage too, it'll support micro SD cards for expanded storage, but the internal storage is much faster, obviously, which is really what we're finding ourselves in any game console now. We don't know the maximum for the external storage for micro SD. I'm sure that'll come out, or maybe it is out. I don't know about that, but
I would imagine it supports anything you can put into it. From what I would gather, I mean, there's some of those.
The Switch can only go to what?
512, I believe.
Okay.
I don't think it's opened up to the 1 terabyte cards yet. Fuck, there's really not even that many 1 terabyte cards out there, and some of them are kind of sketchy.
Yeah. But anyways, it'll feature a 7-inch screen with a 720p native resolution, which is a little disappointing, but the exact aspect ratio is going to be 16 by 10, which comes out to about a 1280 by 800 screen. The battery life is stated to be 2 to 8 hours, depending on the game. There it is.
Yeah, they said you could run
720p and not 1080 because, good God.
Yeah, they said you could run Portal for like 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
at pretty good setting. I mean, it also depends on your settings because you have full control over what you set things at, just like you're on PC.
Yeah, so this will come with a power adapter, a carrying case right out of the box, which is also really nice to see. There will, however, be a dock to connect the system to your TV that will be sold separately. And any USB-C dock will work with the system. Some other things to note: this is Wi-Fi only. Has a built-in mic, a built-in screen brightness adjustment, so like auto adjustment. It runs a new version of SteamOS and will allow you to do anything that the PC version of SteamOS will do, which is awesome.
It's going to be a porn machine for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Just like the PSP was.
Absolutely. Anything that uses Bluetooth, USB-C, or a 3.5 millimeter head jack can be used with this console as well. So that's awesome. It has a programmable paddle buttons on the back, so you can customize it for your liking for different things like Rocket League and shit like that. Yeah. And it supports thumbsticks as well as the built-in trackpads for all games. So pretty crazy. Pretty interesting. I'm not. I don't know. It's not for me. I'm not sold on it.
Right.
I think it's kind of like a toe in the water kind of deal, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I really think that they would have a better job doing a console. And I know that they have Steam Box, right, which is kind of streaming to it, but I feel like they would do better with like a mainstay machine of like, want to play PC games at PC quality, but in your home, like, here you go.
I also think it's weird that it's called the Steam Deck and they don't even have like, what is it going to be called? The Steam Dock, like Steam Dock, Steam Deck. Mm-hmm. I think I mean, it's better than Steam Pal or whatever it was originally called.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think one thing so this thing's big. I mean, seeing some videos of people like holding it.
If you took the It's like Sega Game Gear, like bulkiness. Not in its actual dimensions, but you know what I mean? Like, it takes you back to, like, when they were doing handheld gaming, and it's like, okay, this shouldn't be handheld yet because this thing is a brick.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, we're not there yet.
It's also the same size screen as the OLED Switch, which is, I mean, cool. But the thing that is weird to me, and I watched a video and they talked about it briefly, like with the symmetrical sticks, but they're all the way up at the top of the console, which I think is kind of weird. I almost feel like they should have switched where the trackpads were in the thumbsticks, personally, because I think that's where your fingers are probably naturally going to fall, is right at those trackpads, and I don't imagine a whole lot of people are going to use the trackpad.
It's a messy layout.
It is a very messy layout, and it's kind of
touch screen or no.
I don't know. I thought I saw somebody using
I'll dig
screen
through a
on
bunch
it,
of
but
this shit. And the big thing to note on this too is that this is a custom APU by AMD, custom for this machine. So
the other thing
really
is
cool.
those buttons, like your 4 like ABXY buttons, are just jammed into that corner. I just don't know how comfortable this thing is going to be overall. I really like the concept of it. I think there's a lot of cool things they do there, but I can do a lot of that on my phone. You can already stream Steam games to your phone. And for me, like I like my Razer Kishi, whatever the hell it's actually called, because I don't know how to say it and I've never cared enough to look. But I can play Game Pass games through that, and then I have my Switch, and I just don't know if there's a place for this personally. And for me, I think it's a really, really cool system. And honestly, I mean, all things considered, once they get that dock, this is actually going to be a relatively impressive PC. I mean, even if you don't have a PC and you get a dock for this and a monitor, the dock looked like it was going to have USB ports and stuff, so you could hook a mouse up to it and keyboard and stuff and play and use it just as like a decent PC. And I think that in itself has a lot of value, and I think this thing will sell exceptionally well. But I don't know. Like I said, I just don't know about the form factor of actually playing this thing handheld. It just looks awkward. Or like you're going to be, when you reach up to those sticks that are so far up there, I think you're going to hit the trackpad. And I don't know. It's just, there's a few things that are a little concerning for me about it. But overall, I think it's really, really neat.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see someone enter into it. I'm definitely bummed out on the battery life, but you know, there's the form factor behind it. Obviously, it does look pretty slick, like all the way around, and then I think the front of it looks pretty bulky and kind of not outdated, but just like a very, very heavy in the design of it. There's a lot of buttons on it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how games play on it for sure.
There's a couple of consoles that are similar to this too. I think Nvidia put one out. I think AMD put one out as well. And then there's some GoFundMe, or not GoFundMe, but the what's the other one? Kickstarter. There's some Kickstarter ones, and they're all pretty bulky because they have to be, right? I mean, in order to even get a remotely decent battery life out of this thing and still have impressive power, it's got to be relatively large. So I'm not too surprised, but like I said, it's the layout for me that's kind of throwing me off a bit.
Yeah, and
my hands are cramping thinking about it.
You know what I can't understand yet, and this will go into like the next story as well that we go into and that we jump into, but how like a lot of these companies are not capitalizing on the essence of stick drift and quality control issues happening with all these controllers and different things, and kind of coming out in their marketing about that.
Right. Yeah, because that's a big issue. I mean, PlayStation's having problems with it. Nintendo has notoriously had problems with it.
The way the tiers break down too on this is that on the 64 gig eMMC, so the 256 gig and the 512 gig use the same NVMe SSD. Okay, the 64 gig uses an eMMC. Okay, for storage, only comes with a carrying case. The 529 model comes with the faster storage, the carrying case, and an exclusive Steam community profile bundle. So profile changes that you're, a user. And then the 649 is off the fast storage, anti-glare, etch glass, exclusive carrying case, so a different carrying case than the 529 version, an exclusive Steam community profile bundle, and an exclusive virtual keyboard theme as well. So
I didn't see the on their official website. I only saw the SSD on the most expensive model. I must have skimmed over it or something.
No, they're both NVMe SSDs on the
Really?
256 and 512. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now they still
they need
declare
to label
faster
that a little
storage
better.
and fastest storage, so the read write probably on the 512 is higher than the 256.
Yeah. Yep.
But still using the same kind of technology. I mean, you're still going to notice a massive difference from the eMMC 64 gig.
Yeah.
And then this is it's a Zen 2 RDNA 2 powerhouse APU, so accelerated processing unit. So your GPU and your processor obviously combined. Most consoles are doing that, or have that. They talk about the thumbsticks and the trackpads. Full-size controls positioned perfectly within your reach, and the rear of the device is sculpted to comfortably fit a wide range of hand sizes, which I see that for sure. I wish Nintendo did something like that, because like the Switch, holding a handheld for a long time, it sucks. I've got pretty big hands, and I try to use the thing, and I cramp up like fucking crazy. I wish there's something behind to grab. And I know you can buy like third-party stuff. Shouldn't have to. Should out of the box have it. I can't find what the cap is on the expandable storage. It just says there's expandable storage. That's it. I don't have any news on that. So
I would imagine the way they're kind of toting this is being able to do anything that a PC would do. I would imagine it can handle just about anything.
Yeah.
As far as I see it now. Earlier when I was on the website writing all these show notes, they the website was getting
it's not
just
a touchscreen either.
It's not touchscreen?
No.
Okay. Yeah, when I was on there earlier, the website was so bogged up with people like trying to get in there and look at it and get reservations, and that this part of it where it actually gave the breakdown wasn't there yet, so it wouldn't load properly. Yeah.
So the screen has a 60 hertz refresh rate. This is kind of the geeky tech stuff I like. The graphics, like I said, and the processing unit is that AMD APU. That's custom built. It's got 16 gigs of memory. Okay, so it's DDR5 RAM in it as well, which is great. Bluetooth 5.0. It's dual band Wi-Fi for 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Charging input is a 45 watt USB Type C with a PD 3.0 power supply, so it'll probably charge up pretty quickly.
It's touchscreen. What you
It's
talking
touchscreen?
about?
Am I dumb?
Yeah.
I'm dumb.
It's
I'm
good.
dumb.
I was gonna say it has keyboard
That's
support.
right, the virtual keyboard. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, I didn't read the thing properly.
All good, man.
It's going to be interesting with SteamOS for this. Like, I mean, I think finally there's a reason to use SteamOS.
Yeah. They also, I watched a video and they were saying that anybody can get a free license for SteamOS. So if you really wanted to run your whole PC off of it, you technically could, but I don't know if I'm too interested in that. But it's an option.
I'm trying to see if there's any of the expandable storage stuff. Doesn't look like it. I mean, there's no cap yet on it. I'm sure it'll get announced later on. Yeah, I'm just curious to see if they can actually fulfill these orders. So, I mean,
Yeah, that'll be interesting in itself for sure. Yeah, everything just says yes. Micro SD
yes,
slot. Fantastic.
yes. God.
So.
Okay, well, cool. Hey, new console out there for people to use. It's cool. I mean, I'm excited about this because Sony putting all the stuff on Steam. So I mean, you can go pick up Horizon Zero Dawn and play it on that. That's huge, right? That's a big deal. Being able to play these Sony games and Microsoft also putting games up on Steam as well. So that's a big deal. So
There's
great
a lot of good
way
options.
to get a handheld through them, pretty much.
And the fact that you can run, I mean, any program basically, right? So you could, if you wanted to play Rocket League for free through Epic Games, you could, or I guess it's on Steam for free too. Or no, it's not on Steam anymore. So you will be able to actually play Rocket League. You'll be able to play anything that you could normally play on your computer. You can play even if it is through a different launcher or
Probably
whatever.
a ton of emulators.
Oh, I would imagine this is going to be an absolute emulator machine for sure.
Absolutely. Cool. All right.
So Phil Spencer really,
P3, baby.
he had a lot of good things to say about the DualSense controller from PlayStation. So P3 was recently on Kind of Funny Gamescast, and he stated, and I quote, "We're definitely thinking about different kinds of devices that can bring more games to more places. There's probably some work that we'll do on the controller. I think Sony's done a nice job with their controller, and we kind of look at some of that and think there are things that we should go do, but we're probably not in the more bespoke accessories right now. We just look at what happens on Windows and other places and see if there's a unique opportunity for us. Right now, I don't think there's anything that's obvious to me." He also spoke very briefly about Xbox's plan for VR and kind of made it sound like it's not really going to be a major component on what they're planning for the future. I think
This is being read into too much.
exactly. We talked about this a little bit earlier when we were really talking up the PlayStation DualSense controller, and again, it's still an incredible controller. I love this thing, but
Still very early on though, so we don't know the durability.
right. And I mean, so far it's lasted what 8-9 months now. So yeah. But I think this is definitely being read into too much. I mean, I did think that we needed to address it, but I think it's going to look at that. I do think that it's going to be hard for them to implement anything like haptic feedback or anything like that after the console generation has started. They could do it, but I highly doubt they're going to. I don't think you're going to get adaptive triggers on the Xbox because you're going to have a lot of games that don't support it, which is fine. I mean, there's games on PlayStation that don't support it as well.
This is true. I would say that, you'd have to go through this entire thing of, devs putting out updates for it. However, I watched a video of this man who did an absolutely incredible deep dive into the controller, how it works, and then the software side. And Sony actually built an API that has machine learning in it that understands in a game through sound waves and the game's actions through a normal rumble method to actually bring adaptive triggers to the game. As well as the rumble. Now, it's not very great, but it definitely could be tailored to make it better. But it will work with anything, and it will try to give something. And he showed it off. I mean, like, it works. The API works so well that he plugged it into like a video output controller and played like a hip hop song, and the rumble mimicked the beat within the actual song itself on the controller, and it did it in a manner that was so precise that it almost made it sound like the song.
Really?
Yeah. So it has, they have the power of that to do it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, like, it's going to go back to these days of when you had like the N64, and it's like you have the
Rumble
HD
pack.
Rumble pack, right? Like the upgraded Rumble pack, or like Wii, where you had the Wii Motion Plus and you put the little adapter on the bottom of the Wiimote.
It ends up being a little bit of a pain. It's not a major hindrance, and they could do it for sure, but from this quote and reading this quote,
is just, they're not doing it.
This was just conversation. This was P3 doing what P3 does best, and just giving enough of a morsel for people to talk about it, but not. He's not saying they're doing it. He's not saying they're doing VR. He's not saying any of that stuff. This was, for the most part, a pretty empty statement. I mean, overall.
It was just PR,
Exactly. Is P3
let
doing
me get
PR?
around all of this, not because of the interpretation that we are doing it, but because I just don't need to fucking answer this. I mean,
you also got to remember the show he's on is very heavily PlayStation fans. So, I mean,
yeah, and they
Kind of
also
Funny usually
have
is
some
pretty
interesting rumors from time to time as well,
right.
that don't typically stand, but whatever. And the VR stuff too. Microsoft is focused on HoloLens, which is augmented reality.
Right.
And Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, all of them are focused on AR. I think VR serves a place. I think it's cool. I think it's neat. I think it's a great high-end tier to what I would call a very serious gaming consumer. but I don't believe that it is going to be highly and widely adopted as a means of entertainment in the American household, just as a Nintendo Switch is. I don't see it. So, and I don't think Microsoft sees it.
Not at least for a while. I think we're still a ways off, right?
But here's the problem, right? So like you can say, you can do, okay, VR is not going to do, isn't going to be adopted because when you have the better technology. The better technology is augmented reality.
Yeah.
I mean, through and through, because eventually if you get augmented reality big enough, you could basically have, you can put yourself into a subset of virtual reality by using augmented reality itself.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds fucking crazy, but I just don't see them doing the VR stuff. I do see them doing experiential things though. Like I would like them to come out with that project that they did, where basically it was a projector that just went around the border of your television to bring you more into the game. I'd like to see experience based things like that, and I would like to see them come out with I guess controller updates, but that's going to come from a Pro line. That's going to come from the Pro series of controllers, and they typically come out with an announcement on that before like holiday season, so people buy them around Christmas.
And
like,
they just
we'll
had
probably
their
see the Game Awards, right?
they just had their Elite controller Series 2 come out. What was that, last year?
Yeah.
I think because it was shortly before the actual Xbox Series X.
And
launched.
I think we'll get a new series for it, and I think we'll actually get a lineup because we got the headset. And I don't know how well received that was. I don't know how much it sold, but
I don't know how well it sold, but I do know that all the reviews I looked at on it were very good. Because I considered buying it instead of my Arctis 7s that I have now, but I really like my Arctis 7s. But I almost bought that one because it had like a detachable mic, I believe, or it wrapped around to where it was almost invisible, so I could use it in other places and not look like a lunatic. Whereas this one, it pulls into my headset, but it's still pretty visible. It's still pretty obvious what it is. So, but yeah, I had looked at that because I bought this like the same day that the Xbox One launched.
So I want to make a prediction.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna have a Pro series of devices, an Elite series of devices for Microsoft for gaming. So I think we're going to see a keyboard. We're going to see different mice. We're going to see headset. We're going to see different controllers. And I think that we're going to see a new Elite series come up like sooner than we expect.
They have, and they partnered with Razer to do a keyboard and mouse already too. So I wouldn't doubt you're going to see more of this kind of stuff. And I think that's a good place for them to be. I mean, especially with how cross-platform they are now. I mean, between PC and Xbox, it only makes sense to experiment with those things.
It makes absolute sense. Absolutely. Moving on, we've got a great portion of our show, but also terrible considering just because it has to happen with the times. But here's your delays of the week. So Resident Evil Reverse has been moved from a previously announced release date of this month to just 2022 now. So that's disappointing. But it leaves the mind open to when the hell we're going to get this thing. Elite Dangerous Odyssey's console versions have also been delayed with no estimated release date given. And Ghostwire Tokyo has been delayed until early 2022.
The worst part about the Resident Evil Reverse is that was like if you bought Village, you got it for free. Yeah. And so people, it was kind of, it was kind of one of those like, hey, you buy this, we'll give you this too. And then it's like, well, we're going to delay it a year. That kind of sucks. I mean, again, we're not Resident Evil people, so it doesn't directly affect us, but that does kind of suck to see, right? But I'm not surprised to see Ghostwire Tokyo get pushed back. We haven't seen anything for that for a while now. But hey, that's the thing. QuakeCon at home returns this year, so it will obviously, given the name of at home, will not be a in-person event, but this event will take place on August 19th, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, the best time zone, and end on August 21st. There's not a whole lot else. I mean, they had some highlight stuff on their website, but none of it was really something that we would cover as far as news-wise, but I've never really been one to get big into QuakeCon. that's not really my thing. I know a lot of people love QuakeCon, but this is probably more of like Nick from WASD's realm. I know he's big into it, but
oh yeah, big fan. Rumor time. Insomniac has reportedly began motion capture for Spider-Man 2, which is awesome. So it isn't exactly a shocker that the game is in the works, but this does give us a rough idea of where they are in development. And this insight comes from a now deleted picture that was uploaded by Miles Morales' actor, Najee Jeter. And it's not, 100% confirmed, but I mean, like, come on, it's 100% confirmed.
yeah, he's the only game he's worked motion capture on has been the Spider-Man games, and the only other game he was really in, I think he had a brief appearance in The Last of Us, the original Last of Us. So, I would assume this is Spider-Man 2. It's Insomniac. They just finished up, Ratchet and Clank gets out there, and they've been powering through stuff. They've been doing DLC for Spider-Man. They did Miles Morales. Now they have Ratchet and Clank. I would imagine if they're doing motion capture right now, we're still probably a couple years away. But
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it
depends
depends on where they
good base.
Depends on where they put it too. I mean, if they put it in Manhattan again,
they're gonna. Where would they put it?
They're gonna have to, exactly. And that was kind of the conversation I saw online. People were like, "Well, it'd be cool if it was somewhere else." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's Spider-Man. Manhattan."
I mean, I guess you could do like Spider-Verse shit.
Yeah,
and you fly into like some different weird Spider-Verse, but that's not how Spider-Man works either, because he's still in Manhattan all the time.
Right. They gotta set it up, or they already set it up in Spider-Man that the next one was definitely going to take place in Manhattan and be a very similar thing. And
the reason why I say, like, I think it's going to be a lot quicker than people think. Like, look how quick Miles Morales came out.
Right.
And
they already have
that was held back also because of the console launch.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, like you said, they have a great base. They already have a lot of that world created. They have a lot of
really are just doing mocap for cinematics and writing a new story, and I'm sure stuff is going to change in the city, no doubt.
Yeah,
but
it's not going to be exactly the same. I'm cool with that, honestly.
I'm
there's
totally
nothing
cool with
about swinging through Manhattan that I'm like upset about doing again. I loved those games.
I'd like to be able to go to like Statue of Liberty and stuff like that, like some different.
Yeah.
Like to be able to go out to different stuff. Like expand to some of the islands, but I mean, yeah, they've got a great base, and I mean, I play for the story.
Right. Yeah, I bet we're definitely at least a year out, but I would lean towards 1.5 to 2 years, I think.
Yeah, no, for sure. So that's awesome. Super stoked.
So Atlas is teasing a bunch of upcoming Persona projects. It is Persona's 25th anniversary this September, and Atlas has been teasing new projects for the last couple of years leading to this point. So currently there are 7 different Persona 25th anniversary projects that are yet to be announced. They're all question marks on the website. And alongside these unknown announcements, there are also some special anniversary merch, different items and things such as pins, trading cards, and towels. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not.
Towels?
But this is cool.
Man, there's a market for everything.
I'm big into Persona now ever since playing through Persona 5. I've got Persona 4 Golden on the PC. Like, I am excited for whatever they put out, and I think there was one thing that was kind of shown off to some extent, not really shown off, but vaguely announced, where it's like a Persona mobile game. So that one I don't care so much about, but whatever else they got coming, and there's also been talks about Persona 6, which is they pretty much just began development on that, so it's not like this is going to be one of the announcements, but I'm excited. I still need to play Strikers. That's one I haven't gotten around to, but I'm trying to work on some backlog stuff and get caught up before we get the onslaught of games this fall. So,
gotcha. Gamescom has announced their list of participants this year. So you got 505 Games, Activision, Aerosoft, Assemble Entertainment, Astragon Entertainment, Bandai Namco Entertainment, Bethesda Softworks, Electronic Arts, Game Evo, Com2 US Europe. Good Lord. Head Up Indie Arena booth will be there. Coke Media, Next Studios, which is Tencent Games, Sega Europe, Team 17, which is ukulele people, Thunderful Games, and also Overcooked. Thunderful Games, Ubisoft, Wargaming, and Xbox. Gamescom will be exclusively digital this year and will take place from August 25th through the 27th. So kind of interesting to see it digital, but I mean, Gamescom also has, that's the international event, so
right.
There's a lot more stricter rules, right? So
I'm not too surprised, but especially because some areas are kind of still in and out of like a lockdown type deal.
Germany and France and all that is still.
Which Gamescom is usually in Germany, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always in Germany.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, this is cool. I always like Gamescom. There's some good stuff that comes from it. I mean, usually it's more like people playing demos of games.
We usually get a couple of light leaks from Gamescom and some announcements, but it's usually also like update based stuff too. Like, hey, this is what we're working on, or hey, here's a new look at blah blah blah. So it's cool. It'll be interesting.
Hey Jeff, do you like Smash Bros?
Yeah, I dabble.
Would you like a Smash Bros that you can play as, maybe SpongeBob or Patrick Star?
Say no more. I think that's better than Smash Brothers.
Oh, jeez. I wasn't ready for that hot take, but okay. So there's a Nickelodeon fighting game coming. So the game is titled Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and is being developed by Fair Play Labs and Ludosity, which is the studio behind Slap City, which apparently is really good. I've never played it, but people love Slap City.
But I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah. This game will feature rollback netcode, which is incredible and surprising for a Nickelodeon fighting game that I did not expect, because Smash Bros. Doesn't have rollback netcode. And
they're on a gold mine. They got to do it right, bro.
Yeah. So this game should actually be pretty competitive online. I mean, it should actually play fairly well. So the announced roster so far is from Real Monsters, Danny Phantom from Danny Phantom.
Hell yeah.
Helga Pataki from Hey Arnold. Zim from Invader Zim. Reptar from Rugrats. SpongeBob SquarePants from SpongeBob. Patrick Star from SpongeBob. Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob. Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Michelangelo, also a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Lincoln Loud from The Loud House. Lucy Loud from The Loud House. Powdered Toast Man from the Ren and Stimpy Show, and Nigel Thornberry from the Wild Thornberry, which is incredible. The game will support up to 4-player fights on 20 different levels, both locally and online. There will also be a single-player mode of some sort. Not a whole lot of news on what that actually is, but it's gonna be there. And currently, All-Star Brawl is aiming for a fall 2021 release and is set to release on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. There's also been there was some leaked images and things that showed Aang and Korra from Avatar, and
dude, they have so many. When you like sit back and you look at the Nickelodeon IP, there's a lot of crazy shit that has not been tapped.
Oh, I bet this is...
The DLC is going to be great. Something I'm confused... I mean, they probably couldn't figure out how to balance Hey Arnold's football head.
Right. I would imagine this isn't even like half of the roster.
No. You're going to see Arnold. You're going to see Gerald. You're going to see fucking Liza. You're going to see... Bro, you're going to see so much shit.
Oh,
I mean, what I'm most excited... Well, no, I guess that's Cartoon Network, isn't it?
What's
Weasel.
Yeah, that's Cartoon Network.
Weasel. Fucking love that guy.
I am absolutely amazed with how good this game actually looked.
Yeah.
I mean, so
they did it right.
There was some talk about the game actually having wave dashing and stuff like that in it as well, which is, I mean, this legit has a chance to be a extremely good fighting game, which is insane to me, because you think of like PlayStation All-Stars or something, any other game that has tried to do a fighting game, and
Brawl
it's not
Stars
like
has been pretty good, right?
Brawl Stars has been pretty good, yeah, that's fair. But this is awesome. I'm excited, and they seem to be really focused on like that '90s, early 2000s Nickelodeon with what they're doing, and
it's great.
I'm stoked. This
if
is
you told me
awesome.
Powdered Toast Man was going to be in a video game, I said you'd be crazy.
If you told me Nigel fucking Thornberry was going to be in a
Eliza!
fighting game, just
Babu?
crazy.
Are they going to have Babu, the monkey in Wild Thornberries?
What's the crazy
crazy
guy's
kid?
name? It starts with a D.
I got you.
Oh yeah, you gotta help me. But this actually looks really good. It sounds like there's a lot of potential for this to be fantastic. And again, with Ludosity,
Donnie.
Ludocity, Donnie.
Donnie.
Yeah. Is it Ludocity? Ludosity? Do you know how to say that name?
I don't know how to say it. They're legends though already for creating.
Yeah,
that
they already have a
absolutely buy.
ton of clout. So pumped for this. This is great.
Yeah, this is
I will
fantastic.
be picking this up, and I'll probably pick it up on Switch just because it's one of those. It'd be a great party game, right?
Yeah.
Just like Smash, you know.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Moving on, Netflix plans to expand into video games within the next year. That's right. When everyone starts going to streaming and Netflix starts to lose market share, you have to do something different. Netflix confirmed this week that they have now brought on Mike Verdu, a veteran with experience at Oculus, EA, and Zynga, as the VP of Games Development. And it is said that the games available on Netflix will be added essentially as a new genre on the service and will not raise the price of the subscription. I'll put in brackets, for 1 year.
For 1 year.
Probably.
It's like when you sign up for Dish, you get a cheaper price for a year, and then it goes up.
Well, they're saying it will
exponentially.
not rise the price of the subscription. They're going to come up with a fourth tier where it's like, hey, you can get gaming now.
Right.
So this is interesting. I don't really think it's going to last.
I'm curious what kind of games they're going to do. Like, is this going to be
they're
something
gonna
you
use
can
their
hook up?
IP.
Well, I mean, yeah, but is this going to be so? Up until now, they basically had like choose your own adventure type games, right? Like they have a Minecraft one where you're just right. But I'm curious as to what like is this going to be something you hook up a controller to and can actually play a proper game, or is this going to be some bullshit you control with an actual remote?
I think this is going to be like a Stadia. I mean, if you think about it, they're already there with the movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, mind you, you're going to have the GPUs and shit like that and the actual computing processing power for this stuff. But they're more than halfway there with the video streaming. They've got a massive audience compared to that of Stadia off the bat. But I still don't see this going through very well.
I don't
really
either.
don't.
And Netflix throws a lot of things up against the wall to just see what kind of sticks, and I think this is going to be one of those.
Now.
Right.
Because they were like this, they were that company for so long that we're technologically so far ahead that, Disney and all these people are just like, yeah, we'll just make the royalty off of them and they can handle all the database stuff. But now when they got past, these large data centers, and now, you can, as a Disney, you can just say, fuck it, we're just going to spend millions of dollars a month to, Microsoft for Azure credits. And they can run our whole service on Azure or on AWS or whatever, and we'll pay the bill for that. And then we'll use our IP and we'll charge people, $10 a month. Companies woke up and started realizing we need to, instead of handing out our IP, we need to manage our IP and source our IP ourselves to get the most money out of it and not have a middleman. And so I think they're just grasping. I mean, like, if you think about it, like, I'm going to go ahead and say Tiger King's a fluke.
Oh, yeah.
But, Stranger Things is not. That's a big deal. Was it How to Make a Serial Killer? Is that what the series was? That was a pretty big
Something
thing.
like that.
That was a pretty big one, but they haven't had a lot of big hits.
Well, and one of their other ones, I mean, is The Witcher, which is kind of already spoken for, so.
Well, and also, pair this up too. They're on the right strategy for product adoption. So they have a lot of nerd pop culture movies now and TV shows, right? That a lot of gamers, assimilate into their, trends and what they like in life. They're going to be what sounds like at the forefront of doing all of the video game movies and TV shows, right? Mm-hmm. They're swinging that. So you're going to get people in doing that. And then at the same time, you're going to say, by the way, you can also play games here.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a market. to that. And to be honest with you, most people who are gamers, they have Netflix, they have streaming services. They know what the hell to use, they know how to use it. It's going to be an easy audience to sell to. I mean, Stadia is lost, right? Because them getting rid of YouTube gaming made no sense. Those were your gamers.
Right.
Why wouldn't you keep that? That's a funnel, right, to get to your product. So it's interesting how everything cracks down like this.
I just hope they bring in some third-party support on this too. I
think
hope
they will.
it's not. I think they will too, but the way they've kind of, and again, it's not. I don't know. There hasn't been a whole lot of talk about it. That's why this is 2 sentences and that's it, right? I mean, there's just been some brief talk and some things of that nature, but they're gonna have to have that third party support because they're not gonna be able to put out enough stuff to keep up with it as far as gaming and to actually make themselves a viable product or a viable place to play games. They're gonna have to have that third party support
but also imagine
really
this,
lean into
right?
it.
Imagine, and I don't know how well it would stand, but why do they have to be a marketplace? What if they had intellectual property? The only place that you could play that Telltale version of The Witcher game would be on Netflix gaming service. What if the only way that you could play that arcadey Stranger Things is on Netflix?
Well, and I don't think it is going to be a marketplace from the way it's described.
Right. I think it's going to be very bougie, niche games that are siloed to their IP or these little adventures that you would normally pay $20 for the game. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get a couple hours out of it for a Witcher, side story thing, but you Telltale style and shit like that.
Yeah, I just that's the weird part because
that's where I think they make money. They're not going to.
If they're trying to compete,
in a store.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to compete with even a Game Pass at this point. I mean, they're not going to be able to bring that much stuff and not raise their prices exponentially because there's a lot of back end stuff they have to support there now too. And so, yeah, absolutely, I think it's going to be smaller, kind of, like you said, exactly the couple hour adventure type thing. And I think it'll be fine,
I want to know the side lore or I want to know the lore of this character in the Witcher TV series.
Yeah.
And the only way that I can do this, small story that's going to give me some lore is to play it on Netflix, right?
And there's also the possibility they launch this and just to kind of dip their toe in the water and eventually break off into a separate entity or a separate, a Netflix gaming service of some sort.
Well, yeah, the other end of it too, right, is how would you play these, right? So Netflix is on TVs that have Roku and shit that there's no standardized remote for Netflix.
No.
It's not like you go to Apple TV and you can play games on Apple TV because every Apple TV has the same fucking remote. Right. They're not making 30 different SKUs of it. So maybe it's an app on Xbox that you download and it works just like an EA Play. And there's just a rotation of a couple games that go through it. There's a kickback to the developer team. There's 10 games in there, and it just cycles. That's the only way I see it working. Because I don't even understand in a Telltale way. I guess the only way that you could do it is obviously there's a select button on every smart TV where you can press to then go to the next input action for a user. But that's the only way I could see. You can't.
I didn't even think about the possibility of the Netflix app.
Well, that's the only way they could do games that you move.
Unless you buy a little fucking dongle to hook into the back of your TV for it.
I guess, yeah.
And their special remote maybe, but
they send you a dongle but then I've already have a smart TV and I can download Netflix.
Right. Well, just for controller support with their specific controller or something like that.
A Bluetooth dongle, and then you can use an Xbox controller and it plays through the.
Which I'm sure you could probably do now. It would just take a little work on their end to actually support it, but.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's
confusing.
It's confusing and interesting.
I'm extremely confused, but I'm interested.
We'll see what the hell comes from it. I guess.
It's gonna be. I bet you it's gonna take at least 2 years.
So as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we've pretty much flipped how we do things.
Yeah, I think
quite
it's
drastically.
smart.
Yeah, I think so too. So we're actually closing with the upcoming game releases for the week
Let's
rather than
go.
opening. We actually did get one comment one time, and they're like, "Oh, so you just tell people when games are coming?" I'm like, did you listen to more than 10 seconds of the episode or no? Okay, cool.
Right.
Fantastic. So anyway, the
my
upcoming
ass.
releases for the next week. July 16th, F1 is 2021 is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is coming to Switch. Restless Night is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Stack Up or Dive Trying is coming to PC. Within the Blade is coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. July 20th, Cotton Reboot is coming to PS4 and Switch. Tree's Tales is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia. Goodness gracious, this is not getting any easier. July 21st, Frostpunk: The Last Autumn DLC is making its way over to consoles on PS4 and Xbox One. Frostpunk: The Edge DLC is coming to PS4 and Xbox One, and Frostpunk: The Rifts DLC is coming to PS4 and Xbox One. I guess I never realized that those DLCs hadn't made it to console yet because they've been out on PC for a while.
Yeah, they're taking their Frostpunk's been pretty slow to get their stuff to consoles.
July 22nd, Last Stop is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And Pokemon Unite just got announced that it is going to make its way to Switch on July 22nd. It is not out on mobile yet on that day.
It's the day we fly out.
I know. Might have to try to download that and
on airport Wi-Fi
and not play it. Never mind. Maybe.
Good luck, my man.
Maybe I'll play it while the wife's getting ready.
This
while
is
we're there.
just gonna get more confusing because you're gonna have like Luna.
Yeah.
You have Netflix.
Coming to Netflix.
You're gonna have a bunch of crazy stuff, right? So.
Yeah, this Pokemon Unite game, I'm actually kind of excited to give it a go. I mean, it's a simplified MOBA version of Pokemon, right? And it looks kind of cool, kind of neat. It might be all right.
Who are we kidding though? You're gonna play that in the airport at 6 a.m. after getting picked up at 4 a.m. from your house with me playing Viva Las Vegas in the car at 4 a.m. Viva!
The whole way, a 2.5-hour drive to the airport. It's just gonna be the same song on repeat. Maybe a couple different renditions.
Oh yeah,
but...
absolutely. I'll make a playlist.
No, I'll give it a go. It might not be for a week or so after it comes out, but I'll eventually play it. I don't think it comes to mobile until like September though, which is kind of interesting.
You gotta do.
This is true.
It's a crazy thing. Guys, that'll do it for the show. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Diggity Podcasts. You can find me on PlayStation Network. My PSN is Maple Jeff. You can watch me get a sweet trophy from Adventure Capitalist because I almost have enough money to plat that game.
It's so funny when we go to play something and I hop on it and it says, Jeff, playing Adventure Capitalist. What the fuck?
Bro, I've been trying to get it to. I'm at the one where I gotta have like 1,000 of everything.
God.
And I'm cool, dude. I've got like, I think it was because you get angel investors in the game. Like it goes pretty deep. Like
I played it on my phone before.
And I'm at like, I can leave and like come back in like a couple, like maybe an hour, and I have like a couple sextillion investor angels on Earth.
Good God. Holy cow.
Or on the moon, sorry. Yeah. It's crazy. Right now, on the moon, because I have to get 666 of everything on the moon. No, 707 on the moon. No, 777 of everything on the moon. And I might, like, I get the moon shoes. I run them once because of all the angel investors. And I can afford 400 of everything.
Dear God.
And the managers and everything.
You can find me on PlayStation at
Basically
Luscious
flat.
Brody. All one word. Capital Luscious, capital Brody. You can also find me on Xbox as Luscious
Capital
Brody.
Luscious, capital Brody.
And if you want that Switch code, you just hit me up. I'll give it to you. Maybe.
Maybe if you're nice.
Yeah.
If you're a nice person. If you're not like that douche that left the comments. You guys just talk about new games? No. It's a fucking hour long. Click.
I listened 10 seconds.
Thank God there's a thing called a mouse that you can like move and click, to another portion of the video. Thank God.
Wouldn't want to do that.
What an idiot. What a moron. Anyways. Guys, that'll do it for the show this week. Thank you so much. Next week, we're figuring things out because Brody and I are going on vacation, but we do believe we'll put something up. Might be a little bit shorter than a typical episode, but we'll put something up next week. And it'll go scheduled for the same time because Brody and I at that time will be in Vegas. Drinking yardstick daiquiris.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So until next time, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you later.